everyone. Welcome to Flyover Forecast. Santiago Beltran here. Today it's only me. None of the guys were able to join me today, but we still want to bring you a preview of the next game for St. Louis City 2, which will take place this Sunday, August 14, against Vancouver Whitecaps. But before we go into the details for the Whitecaps, quick recap of last game. St. Louis had a come from behind win against Chicago Fire 2. Final score was 2-1, and for a while it felt actually to me it felt similar to that game against Vancouver Whitecaps earlier in the season, home game that St. Louis City 2 lost 2-1. And it was a game where St. Louis created a lot of chances, score first, and couldn't score that second goal, kept Vancouver alive. And at the end, the last 15 minutes, Vancouver scored a couple of goals and took home the 3 points. So on this game and against Chicago Fire, even though St. Louis didn't score first, it found itself in a losing situation. But before that, it created quite a few chances, couldn't make that final shot, and in the end, Chicago scored first. Luckily for St. Louis, second half things turned around. St. Louis was able to score a goal and tie the game, and had a few chances, created some chances, some opportunities, but it still was missing on that final shot. And that's where I was feeling, okay, is this one of those like the Vancouver game? But at the end, St. Louis was able to score that final goal and get the 3 points and the sweep against Chicago. St. Louis won in Chicago 5-0, and then at home in Edwardsville 2-1. So now let's get into the Whitecaps game. The Vancouver Whitecaps are currently sitting in sixth place on the Western Conference with 31 points, 8 points behind St. Louis City 2. They are also in third place in the Pacific Division, 12 points behind Tacoma Defiance with 15 games to play. So unless Defiance has a debacle the last few games of the season and Vancouver wins everything, the only way for Vancouver to make it to the playoffs is probably through the conference. As a reminder, playoffs have a 4 team from each conference, the two division winners, and then the next two teams on the conference standings. So for Vancouver, it will probably be through the conference standings that they will be able to make the playoffs. But right now, they're sitting sixth in the conference with 31 points, 8 points behind St. Louis. The record this year, they won 7 games, lost 5 games, and tied 7 games with 3 wins in penalty kicks that gives you an extra point. At home, they have a decent record, have won 4 games, lost 1, and tied 4. Their only loss at home came against San Jose. Looking at the record against the top teams in the conference, they have a good record. And this is looking at what the record is against Tacoma, St. Louis, Dynamo 2, and North Texas, who are the 4 top teams in the conference. This season, Vancouver has played 7 games against these teams with 3 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses. And the 3 wins came against Tacoma, St. Louis, and North Texas. They tied one game against Houston Dynamo 2 and lost one, but in general, good results against the top teams in the conference. Vancouver comes to this game not in great form. They have a winless streak of 3 games, and on their last game, they lost to Real Monarchs, who are one of the worst teams in the conference. Lost 3-1, and before that, they tied 2 games. Looking at their last 5 games, only one win in those last 5 games, 2 ties, 2 losses, and their only win was against the Portland Timbers, who are sitting at the bottom of the table with 9 points and just one win on the record. So in theory, it in theory, based on Vancouver's form, recently maybe St. Louis is the better team, but um, there's always a but. So I found out, I saw that Vancouver is going to have some reinforcements for this game. They will have Sebastian Berhalter, who is coming back from injury, and obviously they're gonna play him with the second team so he can get some minutes. And the other reinforcement, who is actually one of their designated players, is Lucas Cavallini. He won't be able to play with the first team due to yellow card accumulation. So they're gonna send him to the second team to play against St. Louis. So once again, as it has happened previously in the season, St. Louis is gonna find itself playing against players from the first team, and in this case, there is gonna be a designated player from one of the rivals. So that could make things a little tricky for City 2. It's going to have some first team opposition. Looking at the stats, their scoring leaders, and actually their scoring leader is somebody who St. Louis fans know well because he played for St. Louis University. Simon Becker has 6 goals scored this year, 2 assists. He's number 29, so you can keep an eye on him when you're watching the broadcast. Actually, he made his debut with the first team this season. With the first team on Sunday, he came in as a sub, and he actually scored his first goal of the season and his first goal in MLS on his first game. It'll be interesting to see if that goal earned him another chance with the first team. The first team is playing at LA Galaxy on Saturday night. So if he earned a spot with the team, he may not be available for this game. So that will be something to follow. Looking at our goal scorers, we have Emiliano Brienza with 4. He's number 49. He actually scored against City 2 when Vancouver came here and took the 3 points. He scored that goal on a set piece towards the end of the game. He has 4 goals on the season, number 49. Also have Owen Antoniuk with 3 goals. He's number 68. And speaking of reinforcements, they also have Easton Ongaro with 4 goals. He is number 43. And the interesting thing about him is that he scored those 4 goals on the last 3 games. And those are the 3 games that he has played for Vancouver. I was looking a little bit into his background, and initially I thought, oh, maybe he played early in the season, and then he got injured and hasn't played. But no, it's not that. It's the other way around. He just joined the team. He just joined the Whitecaps in July of this year. I took a look at his previous experience. He had a successful couple of years in the Canadian Premier League. He scored 25 goals playing for Edmonton FC, and he just came back from playing in Romania. He played from January to May. He also had some experience playing in the Danish first division in 2020. So that's a player to keep an eye on. Number 43 is doing well in the last few games, has scored goals for Vancouver. So that's a player to keep an eye on. Then looking at assist, their assist leader is Ali Ahmed with 4 assists. He also played with the first team last Friday. He played 31 minutes, and it's also one of those players that maybe he will be with the first team and won't be available for this game. As I said, the first team plays in LA on Saturday night, so we may not see Simon Becker and Ali Ahmed, but we will see for sure Sebastian Berhalter and Lucas Cavallini. Thinking about the game and the playoff implications, so as I said, Vancouver is sitting 6th on the table with 31 points. So they are kind of right below the playoff line right now. And the team in 4th position is North Texas with 35 points. So Vancouver is sitting 4 points behind that playoff line. And I had a chance to speak to John Hackward, St. Louis City 2 coach, today during the media availability, and I asked him about these next 5 games that the team is playing away. And 4 of the teams City 2 is playing are teams fighting for the playoffs. One of them is Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Then you have San Jose Earthquakes 2, Houston Dynamo 2, and North Texas SC. And he said that he looks at those games. For him, those games are 6 pointers, and basically he said, "Yeah, if we win, we not only take 3 points for us, but we take away 3 points from the other team." And just looking at a play of implications, if St. Louis wins, St. Louis will get to 42 points. Will be 11 points ahead of Vancouver, with Vancouver only having 4 games left. So if St. Louis gets the win, basically will get enough distance, enough gap from Vancouver, that Vancouver will basically have to win everything, and St. Louis will have to lose everything for Vancouver to get ahead of St. Louis. So very important game. Not only that game, but also the game against San Jose. Same thing. Just looking, and I like to look at numbers and look at when teams can clinch playoffs. So here's one for you guys. If St. Louis beats both Vancouver and San Jose next 2 games, St. Louis will get to 45 points. The maximum points that San Jose and Vancouver could get if they both lose to St. Louis and win their next 4 games will be 43 points. So St. Louis, basically with 2 wins in the next 2 games, will clinch the playoff spot. Obviously, it's just me here thinking, and yeah, maybe St. Louis will win, but But other things could happen. Maybe St. Louis will tie both games, or win one and tie one. But yeah, it's this last stretch of the season, and St. Louis will have difficult games against teams that are fighting for playoff spots. Again, as I mentioned, I had a chance to talk to Coach Hackworth today, and I mentioned the game against Vancouver that St. Louis lost 2-1 a couple of months ago, and yeah, he said that was a tough one for them. Um, he agreed with me that it was one game that basically they let get away, but he said they learned a lot from that, and that's one of the things that's important about these development teams, and especially the first season. Like, every game is kind of a learning opportunity, but he said he's ready. The team is ready to go to Vancouver and show that they have improved, and they're gonna try to get a good result. That game back in May, St. Louis dominated for a good part of the game, had 18 shots, 6 on goal. And looking at Vancouver only had 7 shots, 3 shots on goal, and 2 goals scored. So he gave praise to Vancouver because they came back and kept defending and looking for the result on counterattacks. But yeah, he said it was a tough result for the team, and they're looking forward to playing Vancouver again. And that's all I have for you guys for this flyover forecast. Again, flying solo today. The guys were not available, but we still want to give you a quick preview. So thanks for putting up with me today, and go City 2. Get a good result on Sunday. I'll be watching, and hope some of you also watch on MLSnextpro.com. I know uh, a lot of people don't like the broadcast there. Hopefully, we'll be able to watch 90 minutes this time, and we won't get any interruptions. So, cheers, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.